Thank you everyone for joining us to our third ever DevLabs. This is actually the biggest DevLabs that we've ever hosted. We got over 500 signups. So in the history of all DevLabs, this is the most registered DevLabs. So thank you again for all the love and support here, but we're really excited today to share how to build an SMS and voice AI real estate agent. So just to start things off with an agenda, we will do a quick introductions and share a special announcement, then transition into a community demo from Paul. And for our workshop portion, starting off with a demo, then doing a voice walkthrough, an SMS walkthrough, and then ending with a Q&A and wrap up. We really encourage folks to stay engaged throughout the session and to use our chat and Q&A tab to ask questions as they come up. And if you're feeling up for it, feel free to click on the raise hand button, and we can also pop you up on stage if you'd like to ask your question live. We also have these Q&A pauses between each of the sections, so we can get folks in. Great, to kick off with some intros. So for those who don't know me, I'm Kim. I'm currently the community lead at Voiceflow. I do all things community, whether that's building community programs. You've probably seen me lurking in the Discord and also doing events like these. But yeah, really excited for everyone to join us today. And I'll pass it over to Nico to share an intro.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm product advocate at Voiceflow, as well as working for our Chico in-app agent, and also working with Kim because I'm also part of the growth team. So yeah, my job at Voiceflow is to support users, help users find new stuff to play with, and share everything with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, Nico's our in-house wizard, so he's been building some really cool stuff, and we're really excited to showcase that in events like these. Okay, well, we have a special announcement just to kick off the workshop, so a huge drum roll. We are bringing Voice and Voiceflow, so we're going to be launching a beta to try out Voice and Voiceflow, which is really exciting. It's a comprehensive suite of tools to build and deploy voice-enabled AI agents seamlessly in Voiceflow. You can use voices powered by DeepGram and 11 Labs, and also we have integrations with Twilio and Vonage so that you can connect phone numbers for a true end-to-end solution. What's really exciting is that today in the workshop, we will actually be using this beta. So you can see it in action and see how you can build really complex voice AI agents. Just to highlight a few of the core value props of Voice and Voiceflow is that it's low latency, has high accuracy for interpreting user speech. It can handle interruptions and also be used multimodally with any web chat experiences that you're currently building, which is something, again, that we will be showcasing in the workshop today. And to just share a bit of light onto when you might use this Voiceflow voice agent versus other solutions that are out there, if you're looking to build a simple agent with a little bit less structure and really fast setup, OpenAI's voice agent and solutions are probably going to set you off to the races. The only caveat is that it is contained within the OpenAI ecosystem, so you wouldn't be able to do things like multimodal natively within the platform as easily. But for Voiceflow, we're really positioned as a solution for you to have that fine-tuned control and visibility that you currently already have in your web chat. You can also seamlessly create multimodal experiences between voice and chat in a unified platform, and also have native multimodal support and playing around with different models right in the Voiceflow platform. And of course, best of all, we are also priced lower. So depending on use case, depending on what you're building, a solution can be a better fit for you, but this is just to shed some light on how we are positioning our voice solution. So if you're interested in trying this out, we are going to open a waitlist. You can scan this QR code as well as either go to this link. We'll also send this all out after the event, but yeah, join the waitlist. We'd love to see what folks are going to build with us. Okay, cool. So now that we got the giant elephant in the room out of the way, we'd love to transition more into the use case that we're sharing today and why we thought SMS and voice was a great fit for it. So to start off, real estate was the use case we chose because they have a lot on their plate, whether that's generating leads, sending listings, appointment bookings across all these different platforms like WhatsApp and Excel. They have a lot to handle. And on top of that, business moves fast and customers need quick responses. And we're seeing this a lot in consumer tech apps like Zillow and Redfin, that if they don't answer as quick as possible, they're going to have low conversion rates and scaling support costs, which puts pressures on agents to work 24/7. And so that really got us thinking, how can an AI agent help? And specifically with this workshop today, we'll be highlighting how a Voiceflow agent can help with lead capture and routing to gather buyer preferences across SMS and voice, as well as generate property recommendations from a database. But yeah, what better way to learn about this use case than to invite someone up who's been in the trenches and worked on a project with a real estate client. So I'm really excited to invite Paul up on stage, who's built a real estate agent for his client Property Tree. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Kim. Hey,
How's it
everyone.
going? Yeah, do you want to share a
It's
quick intro of yourself, just so folks get warmed up?
yes, sure. Yeah, but yeah, so we recently got in a project for Property Tree, and we had a few sessions with them to see what they were struggling with first of all, and like what we could provide them with using the tools that we could gather, and just to give you like a very short introduction of what we do and so on. I am the lead AI engineer at Fast Brand Technologies, and we exist out of a sheer need for businesses to digitize after COVID. So like usually during pre-COVID, it was still, as you guys know, it was still like, very vague. The whole thing about intelligent assistants and that sort of thing wasn't very popular. And we've started there, and we've found some solutions because that was the only way to achieve what we needed to in terms of communicating with people using multimedia and using information technology essentially. And yeah, so we've started out using like language models and that sort of thing in recently, as you guys know, obviously, and that's been giving us a lot of great opportunities to be able to give great solutions. And we've been using Voiceflow and a lot of the tools that Nico's been building. These dev labs have been like essential to a lot of the components that we've built to be able to achieve what we have. And yeah, it's just very interesting that it went from being an IVA or an intelligent virtual assistant to more an intelligent agent, if you can put it that way. So it's not in a sense AI, it's IA in a sense, because it has all these capabilities of capturing at the same time, making associations from real-time profiling and things like that. So very interesting times. And yeah, if you want to discuss anything that we had with the project, feel free to ask me any questions.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Folks can drop your questions in the chat if you have questions around, again, building real estate agent for a client.
Yeah. We don't cover all of the solutions in the demo. It's just a very quick overview of phase one that we did. So phase one was mainly just to get it to advertise, properties and associate the communication between the agents. Agents being overwhelmed by trying to send messages to customers constantly. It was like, we live in a time where you don't need to sit in an office and try and reach everybody. We can, send chat blasts out during the weekend, and as they come in, it sort of solved their challenge of, struggling to get hold of the people, number one. So WhatsApp in itself was a great solution because of it's very cost effective and easy to access. And then to get that thing to work with the AI entirely, that makes it very quick to set up. I think I built the entire agent you see there in like just under 2 hours. So that is from a lot of innovation from all the people from Voiceflow and all the people from Fastbrand, everybody all working together, making something that I think would be, an easy to use functionality for a user. That's not the only way you can do it. There are many other ways, obviously, but that's one of the things. So the staff sitting in the office, you would rather go up to them and say, hey, what are you guys doing here in the office? Like, why aren't you guys out there doing viewings? Like, that's the idea. So you want to empower the agents to stop sending, constant messages and that sort of thing into just picking up on the next interested lead, qualified and interested and ready to go. So they can do what a human does, which is like, interact with other humans. Whereas the AI can take over most of this stuff, at night when people are actually at home and not working. So yeah, I hope that gives you a bit of an.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like there's a lot of love in the chat on how
Sure.
your project did 85% of what my real estate agent did, and they take 4% of the value of my house. So that's a really funny comment.
That was a very, very quick, I'm going to say very compact flow, but that's, it makes it easier for the user in that way. So it's not necessarily, how can I say, scripted in any way, but at the same time, it follows like a structure. So in that way, it feels, sort of like it's easy to go through the experience for the user. And then on the chat CRM side, it's a mirror of what you see there, but just, for the agent to be able to quickly send a listing through, if they want to include a specific category, you can select it so that it selects only, for example, commercial areas or whatever type of land you want to sell. So yeah, I can imagine there are many others that would be able to use something like this, and yeah, we're very excited and keen to hear about what you guys have, use cases, and see how we can collaborate more with Voiceflow to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've just added all of your contact information up on this slide. So if folks are interested in connecting with Paul, you can reach out to him on Discord, or also get in contact with Fastbrand. So I guess we'll move on to the actual workshop portion here. So thank you again, Paul, for sharing that. It looks like there's a lot of other folks building with the real estate use case. So if we're interested in forming a private group after this workshop, let me know in the chat. I can be happy to kickstart something like that. Before we dive into the workshop, just wanted to do a quick reminder that this is a two-part series with Pete's Making Bots. So DevLabs is a lot more focused on the developer side of things, so showing how to use our APIs, whereas Pete is a lot more focused on the actual workflow and how to really craft great prompts to make the best project. So yeah, if you're interested in Pete's workshop, that is happening next week on Wednesday. Diving into the actual workshop today, we will kickstart with a full project demo of the voice and SMS build, then section off into the voice setup and then the SMS Twilio setup. So to kick things off, why don't we go into our demo?
Welcome to Redfin. I'm here to help you find your perfect home. I'll be asking you a few questions about your preferences to tailor our property recommendations. Your responses will help us narrow down the best options for you. First up, am I able to get your name?
Yes, sure. Hi, I'm Nico.
Thank you. Let's start with your location preferences, Nico. Which city or cities are you considering for your new home? Are there any specific neighborhoods or suburbs you have in mind?
I'm looking for a condo in Toronto city center.
Got it. I see. What is your ideal number of bedrooms and bathrooms for the condo, Nico? Also, do you have a maximum price in mind?
2 bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Got it. Got it. What is your maximum price for the condo, and do you have a timeline for when you would like to purchase?
Maximum price will be 900K.
Got it. Certainly. Do you have a timeline for when you would like to purchase, and are there any specific amenities you are looking for in the condo?
I want to purchase that in the next 6 months. No other preferences.
Understood. Okay, I'm just writing that down. I see. All right, I think I got all I need. Thank you. Your preferences have been recorded. You'll receive messages on your mobile phone for matching listings. You're looking for a 2-bedroom condo in Toronto's city center. Feel free to ask any questions. Do not hesitate to let us know if you want to book a visit for any of the listed property. Have a good day. Bye.
That wraps up our demo here. Looks like there's a lot of good love in the chat, but Nico, pass it over to you if you want to share how this all works.
Yeah, sure. So what you've just seen is a sneak peek of the beta we are working on. Obviously, there's still some latency in some of those responses, but it's already a huge step from what we used to have. This beta already used the new Stream API as well. We've made a lot of work on that Stream API for this to be able to work, but we will keep optimizing this. But the main interest here was just to see how smooth was that conversation in a way that we were able to collect the information, generate a new prompt based on the previous data we've got from the user, and ultimately know when we can stop that conversation, generate a list, and send that list on using SMS. So this is multiple channels here. This diagram explains pretty simply how this works. So we are using the exact same agent. We're not using multiple agents for that. We are using one Voiceflow agent. And the link between those two channels is made by using a user ID, as we've always do in Voiceflow. When you use the dialogue management API, you hit the interaction point, you send a user ID. Well, the user ID in that case was my phone number. So either if I make a call, we can get access to my phone number, so we can then reuse that to send an SMS. And when I start interacting with my agent using SMS, I'm still using the same phone number. That's why I was able to keep the conversation going, still get access to the previous information I've got from that call, and get a link to Calendly using the previous information. So that's how Calendly link was pre-filled with my name and the result of my search. So the type of property I was looking for. We're not using an API because, well, we don't have too much time to build those devs labs. What we want to do is to share as much as possible and as often as possible. So we're not focusing on integrating a full real estate API. But the good news is we also have the KB table format. So basically, we just upload a bunch of listing of a random property. We use LLM to generate those random property, and we populate a KB table with that. So then with an LLM task, we were able to, from whatever information we gather from my request, we were able to generate a query that will use that for the KB query search, and then get a listing of matching chunks. And we do another pass, and we will see that a bit later, or when we'll check the Voiceflow agent. But basically, we will then do a last pass from those 10 chunks and select the 3 best matches. So yeah, this is what you can see here around the Voiceflow agent, and I like to see that as puzzle pieces or boxes. The Voiceflow agent has an AI convo part, which was for the first phase of that call. And then we also have that AI summary listing and Calendly link generator. So all that part was done in different flows in our Voiceflow agent. So what we have, let's build. Okay, so that's the time where I'm going to share my screen. I think, yeah, we should stop sharing and I start sharing mine. Okay. Here we go. Let's start here. So this is the agent. This is the home flow, and this flow was powering the phone conversation. The integration with Twilio. So right now, the beta, when you will get access to the beta, you will see in the shared documentation how to set up that on Twilio. Right now we are focusing on Twilio, but as Braden was saying in the chat, we are going to integrate that with other providers as well. But the integration will be more simple than the SMS one, because that's just a webhook. For those who knows how to set up a webhook in Twilio, that will be pretty easy. For those who don't, we will have that in the documentation. Still super easy. You will see it's just a matter of entering an endpoint with your agent information, and you're ready to go. So what we have on this agent here is we first start by welcoming the user. That was the first message we were able to hear from that phone call. And we ask the user for their name. So we have a simple thank you after that. And then we will start using a set AI step with this kind of prompt. So in the prompt, we are focusing on gathering information from the conversation, and we will do a sort of a loop. So we tell the LLM what we are looking for. We also provide must-haves and nice-to-have, as well as some rules. So basically, we will keep asking the user, or keep having that conversation until we have location, property type, number of bedroom, bathroom, maximum price, and a timeline to purchase. But I've made just one call, but on another call, another user might say, hey, I'm Nico. I'm looking for a condo in Toronto City, and I want 2 bedrooms, and my budget is 1 million. And then the conversation will change, because we will not ask for a price or type or all this. And then the LLM, because we already have that in one shot, the LLM will maybe try to ask for those nice to have information. And then we start having more context to generate a new search for the KB. We also add some rules. So try not to do this, or add some welcome on each of those prompts, for example. Something most of you should already be aware of is like just fine-tuning that prompt in a way that we already have the perfect information or the perfect next question for the user without adding too much noise. The important thing here is, as always, using a persona in the beginning, telling what the LLM has to do and the main goal. But at the end, what we want to generate is a JSON with all the information. Why using a JSON is useful in that case? It's because not only it will be shareable with, for example, another LLM request, an AI set or an AI response, but also that will be way more useful if we want to send that to an API request, for example. So again, in that project, in that demo, we're using the KB, but you can think of using this to generate the request to your own API or real estate API to get a response from the user for the user. So the thing here is we are also passing the previously generated JSON. So we start with an empty JSON or a template of a JSON. And as soon as we get an information, so as you can see, based on the structure here, property name, bedrooms, as soon as we populate those information on each turn, the LLM will add the information in there. And the important one is the exit, by default set to false, because we start the conversation. But whenever we have the must-have, the exit will be set to true. And in that case, we have a condition that will redirect the user right there. So the condition is basically checking if conversation direction.exit equals true. So this is our JSON. This is also why it's helpful to generate a JSON as an LLM response. And this is why we are using a set AI. We don't want to share that JSON with the user. We want to save that JSON into a variable that we can then use into a condition, into a set, JavaScript step, for example. So if exit equal true, we have all the information, and then we can go to the next step, which is, okay, we thanks the user, and that time we use an AI response because we want to share the generated response from that LLM request with the user. And what we are doing is just passing the previously generated JSON with all the information, and just we create a summary of what this JSON is, but in a human readable way, because this is what we are going to share with our users as a response, as a voice response. When this is done, you can see here, we are going into the search KB, which is in the KB listing search. So this is a go to a block. And if I go to the flow, KB listing search, what I'm doing here is I'm using LLM again. This is the part I was talking about previously to help to get better results. Whenever you make a request using the KB query, you want to be sure that the query itself has enough context to get the best chunks. So what we're doing here is using LLM to generate an optimized query, so a RAG query here, using, again, that JSON. And you start seeing why it's useful to save that as a JSON, because then you can use it and you can reuse it again and again in different places, different flows in your agent. And what we will get here is a query starting by I'm looking for. So if we think of the demo we've seen, that will be I'm looking for a condo in Toronto city center with a max budget of 900K with 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, etc. And this will then be used into that API step request. So we are making a post to the Voiceflow KB query endpoint, and the payload or the body of that request will be the RAG query that we've just generated here, but also we've tagged all the listing in our KB with the listing tags. This is useful because we also want to use the KB as a FAQ. So the same KB will be able to serve listings, but also responds to a user question, like a more generic questions. So in that case, we want to only target all the document with the listing tag. So let's do a quick pause here, and I will switch to what we've sent to the KB endpoint. So this is what this is my post request this time. So again, this is what I was talking during my introduction speech. What we are sending to the KB for this demo is a listing of property that have been randomly made by an LLM, and matching pretty much what we need here. So we have like the price, the number of bedroom, the size, all the item that the user will be able to share with us. And this is, as you can see, this is a KB table format. So I'm using the upload table endpoint. I choose to overwrite my document each time. So if I made any changes here, I will upload that again, and it will overwrite the previous one. And yeah, and the tag is at the very end here. Let me move that. Here we are tagging all those documents with the listing tag. So I think we have like 50 of those. That will be enough. And yeah, you can see that's the type we have. Even like we have Bangalore. That's great. But in my case, we will mostly target this based on my based on the conversation over the phone. We're looking for a condo. This one is a good match as well because this is in the budget. So let's go back right there and switch to the KB so you can see how it looks like in the Voiceflow agent. So the KB table will basically generate one chunk per property. So you can see you have the title, the description, all the item, all the fields we've added when we uploaded the document, and we have like almost 50 of those. So this is how we are generating a listing. But again, while you can use the KB, also depending on how you fetch the data, maybe in your case, that will be easier to simply interact with an API. So let's go back to the KB listing search. We've done that part, and we've retrieved a bunch of chunks up to 10. So we crank that to the max limit. We want to get as much chunks as possible, because after this, what we will do, so we are mapping all the chunks from the KB query response into the chunks variable. And what we are going to do is, again, do another LLM pass to find and extract 3 matching properties from that listing. So 10, and we reduce that to 3 using, again, the previously generated JSON. So that context we got from that phone call is going to be used pretty much everywhere. That's a permanent thing, because we don't want to lose that, because this is what will allow us to not only generate the listing, but keep the conversation going even over another channel, in that case, the SMS. So with this, we generate a listing, and we will basically, so this is what we are sending to the SMS integration. And we will see that part right after. This is more a code thing, but basically I've created an endpoint where you send or you use the user phone. Again, the integration with the voice integration will give you or will populate the user ID with the user phone number. So pretty easy. Now I've got access to the user phone number and I can pass that in. I choose to send a direct message. So I'm not using the Voiceflow DM API. I'm not waiting for any response from the DM API. It's just me sending a message to the user over SMS. And the message will have the SMS list. And that's it. This is what I'm sending here to my ngrok endpoint because I was testing this locally. And a final message saying, okay, do not hesitate to let us know if you want to book a visit. Have a good day, bye. And now we end the conversation from the phone part or the phone session. But because we've just sent a new SMS message, the user will most likely keep going on that SMS channel. And this is what we've seen in the demo where I type, yeah, can I book a visit, for example? And this triggers, because in our integration, again, we will see that right after, but in our integration, we are also listening for incoming requests. So here, as soon as the user types something, we will be able to see that and trigger the book visit intent. So as you can see here, this is a book a visit with some utterances. But what we will pass in our end is simply book a visit and the user ID. And we will be able to generate a link for Calendly. As you can see here, we share an example for the LLM to generate the link, and it will dynamically generate the link using, again, the buyer preferences. So the JSON we are using in all our flows. The good thing is I don't have to pass anything between those two channels, so the phone and the SMS, because again, the user ID is the same. And what has been populated during my Nico session over a phone call is still populated here because I'm using the same Nico user ID for the SMS. So the JSON is already, the JSON variable has been already populated. I'm just reusing this and generate a link for this. So regarding the SMS integration, the Voiceflow beta, you will get more documentation around this by joining or signing for the waitlist.
Do we want to take a quick break for any questions? Looks like the chat is blowing up for sure. So this question from Yannick: how will transcripts of our conversations be handled, similar to our chat-based agents?
Yes, correct. So either on the voice integration or the SMS, we are saving all the turn in the transcript. So you will get access to the transcript the same way you get access to the transcript in the chat widget or custom integration.
Awesome. And kind of along that same line, do we have access to transcripts of the calls, costs, duration?
Not right now, not in that beta phase, but that's a good, interesting question that we can share with the team.
Yeah.
Good feedback.
Yeah, it's great feedback. So some folks asking if this project will also be able to support other languages like German.
So for at least in the beta phase, as we are using Twilio for this integration, a bunch of languages are already supported. I don't have the list in mind, but yeah, there's a bunch of those languages already supported. The other thing is the generated voices. So we are using 11 Labs. You have or DeepGram. same here. They do support a lot of language, but yeah, well, that's something we will document as well.
Mhm. Awesome. Right, and then there's also some questions around, just to emphasize, if you can do things like human handoff for cases of escalation. So Braden briefly shared this in the chat, but on support, we'll have support a dial pad connection for pins and numbers, so you can forward to contact centers, platforms, or humans. But yeah, Nico, if you have anything else to share on this question, feel free to do so.
Yeah, indeed. So the in the actual state of the beta, you will already be able to use DTMF, so the digit as an input. The end of is something we are working on. So hopefully that's something we will support soon. But yeah, that's two of those main features that have been requested so far. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess like to follow up on that, is it possible to like transfer to multiple phone lines, like for instance, in different departments in a business?
Transferring call to multiple phone lines like that in a business. At least on Twilio, you can forward a call to whatever number you want. So yeah, up to you to choose what number you want to forward that voice, that call to.
Okay. So just to be mindful of time, since we will have a Q&A after you show the SMS side of things, maybe we can hop back into the workshop and then open Q&A up again in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good. So, and again, you will get access to this. This is a revamp of our existing integration that is already available on our repo. This is the Twilio SMS integration. I've updated this one a little bit. So basically what it is a bun app that will serve the send endpoint, the SMS endpoint. So this is the webhook you want to use in Twilio. So whenever the user will reply on in the SMS channel, this will be triggered with the information the user just sent. So mainly the message, image, if the user chooses to send an image, but also the user phone number, because again, this is important. This is the ID we are using with the Dialog Manager API. The send one is a new endpoint, and this one is mainly just to handle the different actions for that SMS endpoint. So if I go to here, you can see this is what we are using in our agent when we make that, when we choose to send the listing to the user phone as an SMS. And you can see we set the phone, we choose to set direct to through. So we are not, when we set direct to through, we are not using the API. And one or more messages here. Actually, you can ignore that because we don't need that anymore. Again, the user ID is already passed in the user underscore ID variable. But what have been changed from our existing integration is now you can also choose to pass an action. So an action is part of the request whenever you interact with the dialog management interact endpoint. And in that case, you can see that here I choose to send an action with a type which is intent, and the intent name is SMS underscore interact. And this means that at any time during an SMS conversation, I can choose to start on that very specific flow by triggering the linked intent. So when you create a flow, you can add or a trigger, or by default for every new flow, you can select an intent. And this is how I'm using this to trigger that very specific flow. So you can remotely generate that to start an interaction with the user, meaning the user can trigger something from their phone by replying to the SMS. The Voiceflow agent can interact and reply, but you can also, on your backend, interact with both of those, your agent and the user as well. Because sometimes, I don't know, let's say you have a job that will every night will fetch new property in the listing, and you want to share, if you have a good match, you want to share that with your users, but your user will not asking for you every night for a new listing. So basically you can proactively say, okay, I will generate a new listing and send that to the user if they choose to opt in for it, for example. So those are the main changes in there. Regarding the API, it's again still the same. We have the Twilio integration, so we use the Twilio library. We pass all the Voiceflow needed information, so mainly version ID, project ID, and the API key. All this is in a .m file. So again, you will see that in on the repo, but those are the main information you need. And anything else I can think of? Yeah, so the DM API interact call, as you can see, we are using the phone, and phone is coming from Twilio, either SMS or call. So this is how we are passing that information and how we are linking the session between for the same user. We have some limitation regarding the SMS. So we do a pass, and if a message is too long, we will split that text. So yeah, this is a Twilio limitation. And also, yeah, definitely don't want to send a 3-page SMS. So yeah, that's how we handle this issue. And as yeah, someone was asking for the transcript. This is how we are dealing with this. So because this is a custom integration, so the chat widget will do that automatically for you. But when you use your own integration, you want to be sure to save the transcript. So here we have a dedicated function for that. And you can see here, we are calling the transcript endpoint, and we are passing the information. So after each turn, so we call the DM API, we get those traces, we handle the different traces, like mainly the text for the SMS or the images, and we generate a response for Twilio. But we also save that turn into the transcript. So we are using a put to the transcript endpoint, and we are passing the session ID as well as the username, which is the same as the user ID, which is the user phone number. And that's, I think that will cover all you need to know. You can run this locally. You can also choose to use Docker Compose to put that on a server and run that and generate an endpoint. And yeah, I think I think that will cover pretty much everything.
Sweet. Here. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I guess we can hop into our final Q&A session before we wrap up for the event. Thanks for all the engagement in the chat, by the way, everyone. So I'm going to pop up a few in the Q&A that came up. So let's share this one up. This is from Connor. Can you briefly run through the voice-to-voice OpenAI integration? Apologize if I missed it in the beginning. Understand the complexity of the real estate logic, KB tables, SMS relay side.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. This will be detailed in the Pete's next making bot session. All that part that I've briefly go over. So interacting with the fetching the information using LLM to extract the data and populating a JSON. That's something you will have way better or deeper details on during next Pete session.
Awesome.
Which is on I don't know, Kim, if you
Yeah,
have
it's
that information.
next week on October 30th. Yeah, and so I'll share that event detail if folks are interested in registering too. Awesome. Okay. Looks like we have a few questions in Q&A around like security and compliance issues, even around like security considerations for a Voiceflow bot in production. So yeah, Nico, I don't know if you had any thoughts with this, with like working with some of our enterprise clients as well.
Well, it will depend on how you make that call. Either it's on a web page or on a phone, regular phone, a mobile phone. I assume it's a direct call to a phone, from a phone. You might want to add like a sort of a message telling the user that this conversation might be recorded, might be, or like, and we are asking for user information. Are you agreed or not agreed? But yeah, I'm definitely not an expert on that part. So, but yeah, that's the kind of thing you definitely want to tell the user about and ask for their agreement. Same for the SMS thing, for example. I can definitely see a sort of a conversation when you onboard the user and see where they want to go and what kind of information they want to share with you or with your agent. And depending on that, you can go into different paths. And then if the user will not super happy with sharing information, then that will be an end off, for example, with someone else or just an email, whatever. And if they choose, if they choose to make that call, but you are going to switch to an SMS kind of conversation, be sure to ask the user before do so. Again, the demo we are showcasing is a 2-day thing, so definitely not finished. Obviously we pass over all those kind of security thing, but yeah, that's also a good thing to ask the user. Are you okay with me sending you a listing to your phone using SMS, for example?
Yeah, that's a great call. Yeah, I think having the control again on the Voiceflow canvas, you can build some verification logic as well. So, okay, cool. And then this is a question from Sven. I think it was specific to when you were sharing the JSON KB table. So is the whole table one place in the KB of the 200 possible, or is every listing in the table one place of the 200?
If I got it right, you can have, you see the Toronto document I've got. Even if inside I've got 50 property, you can have 200 Toronto doc. It's not like it's not the 50 property that we are taking into account. It's the number of documents based on the plan you are.
Yeah.
So again, 200 is the number of documents you can have in your KB.
All right, yeah, it looks like that wraps up all the questions we have in the chat. Thank you everyone for all the engagement there. Sweet, just to do a quick wrap up, the beta link is pinned in the chat, so feel free to join the beta, throw in an application, and we'll be sure to get folks access when it's ready. We also have a few callouts if you want to check out our documentation as well as join our community. A lot of these events and updates are all going to be shared there, so yeah, be sure to say hi in the community if you're not already in there. And last call out is that Pete's partner workshop with this is happening next Wednesday on the 30th. So if you're interested, I just shared the link in the chat. So feel free to register for that to see a bit more about how this project was built on the workflow side. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. This is a really, really exciting workshop.